There are many places in Ukraine that are worth visiting. One of them is the Pearl of Cherkasy region, the city of Uman, which is located in the center of the country at the intersection of the main roads connecting the north and south as well as the west and east of Ukraine. Uman is one of the oldest historical cities, founded in the early 17th century. For many centuries, the Uman region was a place of armed conflicts. Many times it was attacked and destroyed by foreigners, and each time it was coming back to life again. Uman is a city of Cossack glory, so here you are going to listen to various legends about the Cossacks and Haidamaks. You will also be able to visit the monument to Ivan Honta and Maxim Zalizniak, a single one in Ukraine. Now this land seems to be created for poets, young extreme enthusiasts, travel lovers and antiquates. It is a city of different nationalities, religions and cultures, ancient architecture and interesting sights. Walking through its streets, you will see an intimate linkage between hoary antiquity and the present days. Here you will learn secrets of old houses, admire modern European buildings and want to stay longer at this city. In addition, Uman is further developed as a festival city. Almost every month, various festivals, cultural and artistic events are held here, so everyone can join in. It is necessary to say that Uman gives each resident and guest an easy access to the city's unique heritage. Recently, about 10 of the most interesting tourist attractions have been marked with pylons which contain full information about the uniqueness of design of the building, taking into account the physical capabilities of each visitor. This is the result of a joint project of the cities of Uman and Lviv, implemented with the financial support of the European Union. Traveling to Uman, you should definitely visit Sofiivskyi Park. Even with a guided tour, you won't be able to see the whole park at once. So you'll have to go back to its alleys more than once. And you'll do it with a great pleasure. As every year, 200,000 guests, not only from all over Ukraine, but also from the nearest and furthest foreign countries, visit the park. More than 5,000 tours are organized for guests from April to October. But for Uman residents, this is a place for meetings, dates, relaxation and sports. And an energetically strong place. Even NASA scientists consider Sofiivka to be one of the most favorable human-affecting places. The park has an interesting history. At the end of the 18th century, the land here belonged to Count Stanislav Potocki. His wife Sofia would like to have a romantic park with elements of Greek mythology. At that time, it was popular to own such parks. So, in autumn 1796, the Count began construction of a new park, which he named after his beloved wife. The author of the project and the construction manager of the park was appointed a talented engineer Ludwig Metzel. Day to day, for 5.5 years, more than 800 serfs worked in the construction of Sofiivka. Many of them died, but it didn't stop the count. The grand opening of the park took place on the 15th of May 1802, but its construction was still ongoing. According to the Count's plans, the park was supposed to cover an area of 500 hectares. But in March 1805, Stanislav Potocki suddenly died and the park still occupies only 180 hectares. An interesting fact that the park was built in such a way that visitors were tend to think that it was created by nature itself. For more than 200 years, the park have been through a lot. Wars, natural disasters. The park suffered repeatedly, but the caring hands of people restored him. Sofiivka flourished again and attracted guests. At various times, many famous people visited this place. Taras Shevchenko, Ivan Kotlяревский, Lesya Ukrainka, Alexander Pushkin, and so on. The ownership of the park as its name was changing. For example, in the 30s of the 19th century, the park was called Tsaritsyn Garden. Then it was called Uman Garden of the main school of horticulture. Since the 20s of the 20th century, it was called the Garden of the Third International. In 1945, alone the park was returned to its original name, Sofiivka. Since 2004, it has received the status of a national one. Now, Sofiivka is a living open-air museum. There is a huge collection of various plants, including more than 2,000 types of trees and bushes and approximately 1,300 kinds of herbs. Visit the blooming rose garden to see more than 300 varieties of roses. Modern Sofiivka is not only a historical garden and a world-famous tourist attraction, but also a research institute. Members of the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine work here. The park is called the World Cultural Heritage. In Soviet times, the planet number 2259, discovered by astronomer Boronasheva, was even named after it. Visit Sofiivka at any time of the year. In early spring, you will enjoy the primroses and magnolias blossom. In summer, you can hide here from the heat. In autumn, the colorful nature of Sofiivka pleases the eye. In winter, the park cordially invites you to go sledging. There is always someone to take an interesting tour here. In addition, you can also enjoy riding a horse or an electric car, as well as riding in a carriage. At the upper pond, visitors can find the steamer ship Sofia, ferry, gondola, boats, catamarans, and join an unforgettable trip along the underground Acheron River. We make sure you will be greatly impressed by the visit of Sofiivka. After the tour around Sofiivka, be sure to visit the new modern fantasy park Nova Sofiivka, which was opened in summer 2019. This park combines various styles, trends and techniques that are used in the world practice of landscape art. Here you can admire fantastic artificial trees and wonderful flowers, walk under the fountain arch, visit a regular French park, touch sculptures made of live plants, Visit a fairy tale house, a forest library, and gazebo pyramid on the territory of the children's area. Plunge into the unique atmosphere of harmony and tranquility of a Japanese garden. We have a unique opportunity to get acquainted with Chinese dragons. There is an artificial waterfall dragon, the Greek wind horse Pegasus, and visit the garden of mysterious civilizations. By the tour's end, you will see a Ukrainian manor house with its unique atmosphere, original architecture, and strange mythological creatures such as Babai, Auka, Forest Mauka, Hucha, Domovik, Skarbnik, Khlibnik, Kikimora, Chort, and Vovkulaka. So come on, hit the road towards new impressions and cool emotions. Do you enjoy observing fountains? If so, you should definitely visit the Pearl of Love. It is a unique complex of fountains on land and on water, which is accompanied by a laser light show in the evening hours. The magnificent spectacle leaves no one cold. You need to see it with your own eyes, feel the full spectrum of emotions. Pearl of Love is one of the 3 largest fountains in Ukraine. The main bowl of the fountain is on land. It is followed by 3 other static fountains. On the Ostashivskyi pond there is a floating light dynamic fountain nearby. Add to the water enchanting spectacle a light music show, a show on the water screen, and light dynamic illumination, the color of which doesn't repeat throughout the day. Here you get the Pearl of Love. The fountain is impressive in its size. The height of the water jet of the floating fountain on the Ostashivskyi pond is 19 meters, a static 1.9 meters. Compare on static fountains 1.9 meters. Combining with the music light laser show, it turns out to be a unique sight. And it's all about love. On the embankment of Ostashivskyi pond, you will see not only fountains but also a museum of ships. The museum was even entered in the National Register of Records of Ukraine for the largest number of historical ship models placed in one location. Here you will also see the Museum of Ships, which was created by Master Mykola Chestik by hand, for what he was also entered in the National Register of Records of Ukraine. Now the museum adorns the embankment and is famous as an excellent photo zone for both Uman residents and guests of the city. There is a Sobornist Square in the heart of the city of Uman. The largest light and music fountains in Ukraine became its main attraction. Children always play here, diving into colored water jets. The fountains are especially impressive after sunset, with the start of the only laser show in Eastern Europe. This unique art project is a real art that miraculously combines water, light, music, and modern technologies. Looking for a breath of coolness and good mood in a hot summer day? Then you have found the right place to do it. The Basilian monastery is considered to be one of the oldest buildings in Uman. It was built by order of Count Potocki in 1764-1766. The monastery dates back to more than 2.5 centuries, and that is no surprise, because it has 1 meter thick walls. And it's still shrouded in mystery. Under the building there is a huge basement and a network of underground tunnels that were laid in the 17th-18th centuries. According to legends, somewhere in these tunnels there are treasures hidden by hidden marks. For some time, the Catholic Basilian school existed on the territory of the monastery. However, over time, the building turned to defensive one. In 1858, artillery barracks were built on its territory. In Soviet times, the military forces occupied the monastery, until in 1998 they left the old building. Nowadays, the tourist route Mysterious Dungeons of the Basilian Monastery is open here. Don't be surprised when a monk meets you at the entrance and gives you a tour around the dungeons, telling the stories about life of monks who served at the Basilian monastery. We make sure that the theatrical monk story inside the cold monastery dungeons will amaze everyone. Here you will get acquainted with the history of the monument, mentally getting into the deep centuries. Moreover, strange noises and old smells make you even more excited. But that's not all the interesting sights you can find in Uman. Have you heard about Little Jerusalem? No, it's not about Israel. It is about the fact that one of the most influential spiritual leaders of the Breslov Hasidic movement, Rabbi Nachman from Breslov, was buried in Uman. According to his will, he was buried at the old Jewish cemetery in Uman. And now, every autumn on Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, thousands of pilgrims from more than 20 countries around the world come to the grave of Tzaddik to celebrate the Jewish New Year. They celebrate noisily, in a special way complying with their own traditions. A Jewish town with its own infrastructure and lifestyle is constantly growing around the memorial. Everyone who visits these places out of curiosity is surprised by the Hasidic spirit and life philosophy. That's how our Uman looks like. Come here and see for yourself its uniqueness and versatility.